So right now we're in the train station, waiting to take the first train out to Hakata Station.
The trip from Fukuoka takes a little over 2 hours by train. We first took the Kamemome Limited Express to Takeo Onsen, then transferred to the Shinkansen to Nagasaki Station. We used the JR Kyushu Pass for the travel.
So from the Nagasaki station, going to the Nagasaki port terminal for Gunkanjima is about a 20-minute walk.
So the Gunkanjima tour, you can make a reservation online, but you have to get there at least 30 minutes in advance so you can pay for the reservation in person. Oh, I'm so tired.
Arriving at the Nagasaki port terminal, we exchange our tickets to Gunkanjima, an old abandoned mining island, and wait to board a ferry. Tickets cost about $40 per person.
So we just got our boarding passes for Gunkanjima. You also need to put a little sticker on your chest. You look like a proud Gunkanjimaer. We boarded the Gunkanjima cruise. Are you excited?
Very. We're facing the sun.
The ferry ride to Gunkanjima takes about 40 minutes. They take you on a scenic route where you see a lot of historic structures and islands. Fair warning though, the ride can be quite rocky, so if you're easily seasick, make sure to take some seasick medicine before embarking on this journey. Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima or Battleship Island, is an abandoned mining city off the coast of Nagasaki. Once owned by Mitsubishi, it produced coal for Japan's war efforts in World War II and became the most densely populated place on Earth at its peak. However, as petroleum began replacing coal as the main source of energy, Gunkanjima's mines gradually shut down and the island became completely abandoned in 1974. Fun fact, it was also featured in the James Bond film Skyfall.
So we just finished on the Gunkanjima cruise and we just docked back at Nagasaki port terminal. And when we land and successfully land on Gunkanjima Island, you get a little certificate showing that you've successfully landed.
So the one that we have is in Japanese, and when you're back in Nagasaki port terminal, you can also exchange it for one in English, but we liked how it looked in its original form.
Oh, what's that? I think my stomach's talking. Traveling has definitely worked up an appetite. Luckily, we're in Nagasaki Chinatown, just 15 minutes from the port terminal. A cute little bun statue and some free samples lured us into Iwasaki Honpo, a famous pork belly bun spot. The small store sells buns for about $4 each with a variety of flavors. We decided to sample a few, ordering the fatty pork, cheese, and hamburger bun.
Here we are at Iwasaki Honpo, which is in Nagasaki Chinatown, known for their pork belly buns. So we're going to try the beef hamburger one now. Absolutely incredible. It's not like your standard American hamburger flavor. It's got the spices in it that to me resembles like a pepper bun, like the Taiwan pepper bun a little bit, but not as peppery. Very fragrant. I would recommend actually just try them all. and see which one you enjoy.
Overall, we really enjoyed our lunch at Iwasaki Honpo. However, comparing to the cost standard for food here, it is a bit on the tourist pricing side. 6 buns costed around $20.
Now that we finished our lunch, where are we headed to now?
We are headed to Nagasaki Penguin Aquarium.
So we actually just realized that we took the bus that went the opposite direction, and so we had to walk like 1 or 2 bus stops back to where we originally started. A little bit unclear from Google Maps.
I'm going to show the image of across the street.
Yeah, the image shown was the stop that was across the street, but the actual stop was the street we're on right now. We're finally making our way to the Penguin Museum. We're about an hour behind schedule right now because the buses we kept missing.
We finally arrived! The Nagasaki Penguin Aquarium is kind of away from downtown Nagasaki. However, penguins are Ashley's favorite flightless Arctic bird, so this became a must-visit spot for us. The Nagasaki Penguin Aquarium cost about $3.50 per person and is home to around 180 penguins from 9 different species. When we visited, it wasn't crowded at all, which meant we could take our time and enjoy each exhibit at our own pace. What really stood out though was how close you can actually get to the penguins, closer than any other exhibit we've seen.
What are you doing over there?
Alright, maybe a little too close.
Now we are heading back into the main Nagasaki area, but going towards the Atomic Bomb Museum. So we're going for a more historical aspect.
So we'll take the bus and then the tram, and we'll see you there.
A trip to Nagasaki would not feel complete without visiting the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum. The museum is a solemn but powerful place that takes you through the events that unfolded on August 9th, 1945, where time stopped for thousands of civilians. The exhibits here document the destruction, the personal stories of survivors, and the lasting impact of nuclear weapons. Walking through the museum, you see artifacts, photographs, and testimonies that make history feel very real and human. Right next to the museum is the Hypo Center and Peace Park, which marks the exact location where the bomb detonated. Today, the site stands in stark contrast to its past. It's now a beautiful and serene park that carries the message of everlasting peace. At the center, you'll find the iconic peace statue surrounded by other memorials.
Alright, so we just finished going through the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum, and we also walked through the Peace Park and also the epicenter of the atomic bomb. What were some of your thoughts about the experience?
It was very like humbling, I guess, like how much disaster was brought upon this place, and they were able to still rebuild. It does make me wonder how much, if any, radiation is still around.
It's true, because I saw one of the video they had an exhibit was like they resolved and cleaned up as much as they could, but there's still a lot of mysteries around the radiation that they couldn't answer, and so it makes it sound like there may be still some lingering side effects.
There was
in the
also
place.
one video that mentioned that like the radiation can't be felt by the 5 senses, so like there could be like a minimal amount of exposure you wouldn't realize.
That's true. Especially going down like the epicenter area, there's a river walk. They use some of the original stones to renovate the riverbank. And so, there may be some exposure there, but it's pretty unique with the material of choice. So, right now we're about to head to our next destination, which is dinner. And what are we going to have for dinner?
Champon?
Nagasaki is famous for its champon and sara udon, so we stopped by Shandong province, a restaurant near Peace Park, for dinner. Both dishes are deeply influenced by Chinese cuisine and are considered the soul food of Nagasaki. We kick things off with some gyoza, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, and just really satisfying. Simple but the perfect way to start the meal. For our mains, we tried sara udon, a bed of crispy fried noodles topped with a rich, starchy sauce loaded with meat and vegetables, and champon, a hearty, thick noodle served in savory pork and chicken broth with plenty of vegetables. Overall, the food felt familiar, reminding me of similar flavors in Chinese cooking. What truly stood out, though, was the warm hospitality of the elderly couple who run the restaurant. Even though we arrived 15 minutes before opening, they welcomed us inside and offered us drinks while we waited. And the best part, the entire meal cost only $18.
So we just finished our dinner here in Nagasaki, and we had champon, sara udon, and gyoza.
What?
And with that, we wrap up our one full day adventure in Nagasaki. Looking back, the highlight was definitely Gunkanjima. The whole experience of getting to the island and seeing the structures firsthand was incredible, and we highly recommend going if you have the chance to visit. As we finish up our day in Nagasaki, we head back to Fukuoka. We hope you enjoyed watching. If you liked the content, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Also open to feedback for how we can improve our content, and we'll see you in our next episode in the Zaifu.